There's a reason some families pass down wealth smoothly, while others get stuck in paperwork, courtrooms, and stress for months after someone passes away. And it's not luck, it's structure. Most people think having a will means everything is handled. You write down who gets what, sign a few papers, and that's it. But here's what no one really explains clearly. A will doesn't avoid court. It guarantees it. The moment you're gone, your assets don't just transfer to your family. They get pulled into something called probate, a legal process where the court steps in to validate everything, review everything, and approve every single transfer. In that process, it can take months, sometimes over a year. It can cost thousands in legal fees. And worst of all, it's completely public. Your financial life, your home, your savings, even your debts, can become part of public record. Now imagine your family dealing with all of that at the exact moment they're trying to process loss. That's the part people don't think about. Not just what you leave behind, but the experience you leave behind. Now here's where things shift, because there's a way to set things up so your family doesn't have to go through any of that. No court delays, no public exposure, no unnecessary legal battles. That's what a living trust does. And despite how complicated it sounds, it's actually very straightforward when you break it down. A living trust is basically a legal container. You place your assets inside it, your home, your bank accounts, your investments, and you control everything exactly like you do now. You're not giving anything away. You're not losing control. You're just changing the legal ownership structure behind the scenes. And that one shift changes everything. Because once your assets are inside a trust, they're no longer tied to you personally in the same way. So when you pass away, they don't get stuck in probate. They move directly to the people you've chosen. Quietly, privately, efficiently. Think about it like this. Without a trust, your assets are on a road that must go through traffic, court approvals, delays, paperwork. With a trust, you've already built a private route that bypasses all of that. Now here's something even more important, and this is where most people underestimate the value. A living trust isn't just about what happens after you're gone. It protects you while you're still here, because life doesn't always give warnings. If something happens, an illness, an accident, anything that leaves you unable to manage your finances, your family can't just step in automatically. They may have to go to court just to get authority to help you. That means delays, stress, and decisions being made under pressure. But with a living trust, you've already decided who steps in. Someone you trust, someone you chose. No court involvement, no confusion, just continuity. And here's the part that might surprise you. This isn't just for wealthy people. You don't need millions for this to make sense. If you own a home, if you have savings, if you care about making things easier for your family, this applies to you, because probate doesn't scale kindly. In many cases, smaller estates actually feel the impact more. Fees take a bigger percentage. Delays hit harder. And what could have been simple becomes complicated. A living trust helps you avoid that. But, and this is important, it only works if it's done right. Creating the document is just step one. The real power comes from funding the trust, actually moving your assets into it. Miss that step, and some things could still end up in probate anyway. And that's where most people slip up. They think signing papers is enough, but the real advantage comes from how you set it up in practice. So now the real question is, what is a living trust? It's this. Do you want your family dealing with courts or clarity? Because once you see the difference, it's hard to ignore. Because once you understand that difference, you start looking at everything a little differently. You stop asking, do I need a trust? And you start asking, what happens if I don't have one? And that's where the real clarity kicks in. Let's walk through a simple scenario. Imagine someone owns a home, has a savings account, maybe a few investments. Nothing extreme, just a normal, responsible life built over time. They have a will, everything is clearly written. But when they pass away, that home can't legally transfer to their family right away. The bank accounts can't just be accessed. Even simple things like selling the house or paying bills can get delayed. Everything pauses because the court needs to step in first. Now compare that to the same situation, but with a properly set up living trust. The moment that person passes, the successor trustee, the person they chose, steps in immediately. No waiting, no court approvals, no legal bottlenecks. The house can be transferred or sold. Accounts can be managed. Everything continues moving. It's not just faster, it's smoother, more controlled, less stressful. And that difference? It can completely change how a family experiences one of the hardest moments in life. Now let's talk about control, because this is where living trusts quietly become powerful. A will is a one-time instruction. It activates after you're gone. But a living trust is flexible. You can set conditions. You can decide how and when your assets are passed on. For example, instead of giving a large amount of money to someone all at once, you can structure it so it's distributed over time, or tied to certain milestones, like education, age, or responsibility. That's not about control in a negative way. It's about protection, because not every inheritance is handled wisely, especially if it comes all at once. A trust lets you think long-term. It allows you to protect not just your assets, but the people receiving them. And then there's privacy. This one often gets overlooked, but it matters more than people think. A will goes through probate, which means it becomes public record. Anyone can look it up. Your assets, your decisions, your family structure. With a living trust, that information stays private. No public filings, no open records. Just a quiet, direct transfer handled exactly the way you planned it. Now, let's be real for a second. Setting up a living trust does take a bit more effort up front than writing a simple will. There's more structure, more detail, more intention. But that's exactly why it works so well. You're not just preparing a document. You're building a system that keeps working no matter what happens. And here's something most people realize too late. The easiest time to set this up is when everything is calm. Not during a crisis, not when something has already gone wrong, but now, when you have time to think clearly and make the right decisions. Because once something unexpected happens, your options become limited. So this isn't really about legal strategies anymore. It's about responsibility. It's about deciding whether you want to leave your family with a complicated process or a clear path forward. And the truth is, most people don't avoid this because it's difficult. They avoid it because they think they have time. But time is the one thing none of us can control. So if there's a way to make things easier, smoother, more secure for the people who matter most, why leave it to chance? Take a closer look at how your assets are structured. Start asking the right questions. And if this is something you've never thought about before, now you know what to look for. Because once you understand how a living trust works, you don't just see it as a legal tool. You see it for what it really is. A way to protect everything you've built and everyone you're building it for. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe and stick around, because we break down complex financial and legal ideas into simple, real-world strategies you can actually use.